Welcome to my garden in Seabrook, Washington. I wanted to get you all an update on my garden for the summer. My mom was just visiting and helped me clean out a bunch of the weeds. So I will show you a little before and after of some of the things we cleaned out. Mostly we needed to get rid of the bird's foot trefoil and willow herb. And then we cleared a lot of things from the pathways that were blocking access. And then we emptied out a bunch of the pots because I had been stringing along some old bulbs and some old perennials that weren't looking so good anymore. And I replaced them with fresh annuals and a couple of perennials and some herbs. So let me walk you around and show you how things are looking here in July and the new color that I added to the garden. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so I do want to note a couple things about this garden. Some of the things have been in the ground for 4.5 to 5 years, like this hydrangea and this escallonia hedge here. And it was irrigated for the first 2 years, and then the irrigation system stopped working. And now it has not been irrigated at all this year. So some of the sun scorching or the browning is from a lack of water, or it could be from wind because we are near the ocean. Let me take you up a little bit. The ocean is just over there. So it's a pretty windy spot. Hydrangeas don't love it, but I like them enough to keep them here. So none of these plants have had water, the ones that are in the ground, this season at all, and we're early July right now. And then I just potted up some of the pots that we have here. So these are mostly freshly potted. This one was already potted up and I stuck a petunia in the middle of it. We'll see how that does. I added some fresh soil around that. And the pot in the back I haven't cleaned up yet. You can see a super messy perennial poppy back there, and then one of the honeysuckles that's climbing on the porch is growing out of that pot. The other honeysuckles are coming out of these two pots there, and they got very, very dry and brown, but I think they're still alive and savable. So then this pot section looked pretty terrible and was kind of impinging on our seating area. So we dumped nearly all of these pots out. In fact, these are all fresh, and a couple of them that I saved are in the seating area here still. There's a hebe, and then these 3 still are potted up with their original plants. We have some strawberries ripening, a native plant that I can't remember what that is. We've got a bush honeysuckle and a couple bulbs around that growing. You can see the ripening berries there. And then this plant here is an escallonia. The bees love it. We've seen hummingbirds on it also. And it's just starting to catch up to the top of the fence here. These are the plants that struggle the most. I think the soil is the worst quality here, but they've almost made it to the top. You can see even in this chilly time of day, we have pollinators on the escallonia blooms. And then you can see how much taller it gets down there. So I think the quality of soil varies quite a bit here. Let's go around this umbrella. So we cleaned up the paths so you can walk down them a little easier. And there was a big bunch of bird's foot trefoil here that we cleaned out. We spruced up this pot a little bit with a dahlia, and I'm just popping a couple other pots here and there. This pot could be spruced up over there, but it's kind of stuck right now, so I'm just leaving it alone. And I just plopped this pot in the middle here for some color. And I love saxifrage. She has been blooming since like February in these 2 pots here. There's a penstemon here who has seeded herself into the walkway here. So that's kind of fun. And then we have a nice big hebe. So if you've been around for a while, you'll know that I cut this back really aggressively to see if it would come back, and it has come back in full glory this year. It did not bloom last year because of my cutback. The pollinators like this one too. This is a dual plant. I planted two right next to each other, but you can see that this purple one is not recovering as quickly as the white one to the aggressive cutback. But it's still alive under there, so kind of an interesting experiment. There's another small purple one down there next to the pot. Much slower recovery to the aggressive cutback. And I have a couple more hebes over here in bloom. They're very pretty. And then this blue waterfall campanula has been crushed by the doggos. We went ahead and cut it back where it was growing over the walkway, and then it probably can just get cut back because it's pretty smashed in here. But I do like how it kind of grows up into the other shrubs that are around it. It is kind of smashing this catmint here as well. So woody shrub, good for crawling up underneath. Herbaceous perennial like a catmint, it just kind of is crushing it. So if you want to pair that with something, think about doing a woody shrub. I pulled the old plants out of these 3 pots, repositioned them a little bit, and just stuck some black-eyed Susan rudbeckia in them. So hopefully that'll is early enough that those will still bloom in August. And then this saxifrage is getting bigger and taking off. So I think I might start dividing it. One of them just fell off and I planted it there while we were cleaning up. There's a heuchera in a pot and another hebe back here. It's our little shady corner under the alder. And just kind of a little bit of a messy dumping area back here. You can't see this very well. And then we've got our giant hydrangea bush that's as tall as I am next to the house here. I like this accidental penstemon pairing with the hydrangea. It seeded itself sort of right in front of the hydrangea, but because it's so big, it's kind of grown up into it. Isn't that a nice pairing? So if I were to plant this, I would maybe plant it a little bit closer to the base of the hydrangea. This one's about 4 feet away. And then I would train it as the hydrangea blooms out, I would train it sort of up in. Right now I've just been kind of tucking it in here so it stays out of the pathway. And then I cleared this whole area of pots. Looks nice and clean. I cut back this rush that was taking over the world. I think I might just keep cutting it back and see what happens if I can actually get rid of it. And then I've been pruning up my hydrangeas a little bit. So I remove some lower branches from here and I remove lower branches from here. That helps keep the plants healthier and keeps them up off the ground. I like the look of it. It helps to underplant it with things. So there are constantly weeds in here that I am finding and pulling. This is a willow herb. And then this alyssum has just seeded itself in the cracks, so we're leaving it there. There are lots of snails in the garden this year. So I just find them and throw them in the road. They're all over the place. And the crocosmia started to bloom. So this blooms almost exactly with 4th of July every year, which is fun because it's red. And there is some gara starting to come up, but not blooming yet in here. And there are some verbena bonariensis that are 6 feet tall at least. That I think this is the 3rd year for those. They're kind of protected behind the hydrangea here, so they don't die back in the winter. We have some geraniums that are sort of bloomed out for now. can see their little seed pods. So if I wanted to, I could come and cut these back. They will probably have another flush. And then, oh, this is a Cape fuchsia that's sort of struggling along down here. A pink hebe. There's a couple nigella in the sedum there. And then we have some sad daisies, but I'm just kind of letting them go, and I'm adding pots back here for some height in this spot. So I think I'll add a couple more grasses in there to fill in that gap in that place. So that's basically the front yard. You can see the hydrangeas a little bit sad from the wind and not enough rain, but I think it's still okay. It's a limelight tree. So I'm going to set up a sprinkler up here that I can control with a ratio system on my phone. And that way I can make sure everything's getting watered that's in these pots. Oh, I should also say we did red geranium hanging baskets this year. Kind of a fun traditional look. So in true YouTube style, right after I finished filming this video, I got right back to work. And so the final product is actually after this last cleanup that I'm going to do and potting up session. So let me just show you that sped up a little bit here. I'm adding some of these rudbeckias to a pot because I noticed how many roots are on these and they're super pot bound, which means that they don't hold water very well, and they probably have a mostly peat potting soil, which also does not hold water well and can get hydrophobic. And I knew I was going to be leaving for at least a week and just having a sprinkler on these, so I wanted them in some fresh soil. That's why I didn't want to leave them in their little nursery containers. So I'm adding these to some other containers I had around, some terracotta containers. Even though I was trying to mostly stick with the metal look, I just ran out of metal containers, so that's okay. The terracotta, I think, looks pretty cute still. So I had 3 pretty large rudbeckias in 1-gallon containers I potted up here, and then I had some straw flowers and some lantana to pot up. So I'm just scooting those around, making sure they have good amount of room. And then here, for some reason, I decided I needed lemon balm in 2 places. I don't remember why I made that decision, but I put half of a lemon balm in this container with a straw flower, and then I added the other lemon balm to this container that has the Pacific silverweed in it. I don't exactly remember what I was thinking or why I needed to do that. I think maybe I wanted a little bit more greenery in this section and not just blooms. And then I will do a quick cleanup. I love using a tarp to lay down in this area so I don't get too much dirt on the gravel. So here from left to right, we have an herb container with chard and a calibrachoa and some chives. And then we have a couple other containers. Let me see what else we have in here. Oh, there's a yellow squash in the back there with a annual vinca, which I've never grown before. And then in the back we have mandevilla, is that what that's called? In the pot, a red one. And then here's a little side angle of those rudbeckias potted up. And there's a herb container on the right that I didn't show in very much detail, but there's some sage, basil, oregano, parsley, those sorts of things in that herb container too. My question of the day is if you think I should cut back my red valerian so that the crocosmia pops up against the house, or if you think I should let it just kind of go to seed and turn brown and the pink will just sort of fade away that way. Would you cut back or would you let it go to seed? Thanks for joining me. I'll pop a couple more videos up from my channel here if you want to stick around. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I hope to see you again in the next video soon. Bye.